as a silky pillowcase, slither in my innocent oasis. You bring the pain, I'll deliver patience. I see the lion and try to tame him. I know the werewolf behind the sheep, familiar the sin of deceit behind your pretty teeth. Say you need space to breathe, but what does that really mean? I don't believe when you said to me you really need space to breathe. What you really got up your sleeve? I don't believe when you said to me you really need space to breathe. I know something's up your silky little sleeve. Your silky little sleeve. Something's up your silky little sleeve. Your silky little sleeve. I seen it coming from up the block. Must be the one that you think I'm not. Let me remind you if you forgot. I'm not the one or the two or the three or the five. Okay, you need space, go ahead, get your life. While you're searching, hope you find, act right, saying you're fine. Read between lines, I was born at night, not last night. I can't believe when you said to me you really need space to breathe. What you really got up your sleeve? I don't believe when you said to me you really need space to breathe. I know something's up your silky little sleeve. Your silky little sleeve. Something's up your silky little sleeve. Silky little sleeve. Lines between the lines, between the lines, somehow I find you. I can't bother time, no more time. Lines between the lines, between the lines, somehow I find you. I can't borrow time, I'm tired of trying. I can't believe when you said to me you really need space to breathe. What you really got up your sleeve? I don't believe when you said to me you really need space to breathe. I know something's up your silky little sleeve. Your silky little sleeve. Something's up your silky little sleeve. Silky little sleeve. What you got to hide behind that silky little sleeve? What you got to hide? Silky little sleeve.
Can't move flexing cause they know I got the sauce. Got the presence on me, I can't ever take it off. That's why I came, country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping. Country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping. Yeah, they can't get like me, rocking boots and white tee. Designer on my cuff, ring something like a mobile. Country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping. Country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping. Artist out the ranch, I just told you that I'm bout it. I might take offense if you tell me that you doubt it. It's just what it is, yeah, I'm known to make it rowdy. Then I'm for the fit, and I drive a wide body. Who you know, but like this, nobody. Can't go slow, I gotta hit that body. I'm the top, but the top, I can't never take a break. Yeah, I'm hot, and you not, that's why all my records bang. Oh, it's been a long, hard road, gotta go on. Yeah. Oh, and I know you love the way that I'm gon' keep crazy. Better take that knee and kiss my ring, cause I be royalty. Everywhere I go, my scene, and they be hating. That's such a lame thing, yeah, y'all be lame things. I could never ever go outside like that. Yeah, my people got my back, and I know that that's a fact. So I won't worry about a thing, I'm gonna keep on burning track. Do you get what I mean? I got faith in my dream. Oh, it's been a long, hard road, gotta go home. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, and I know you love the way that I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, 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 can't lose flexing, cause they know I got the sauce. Got the presence on me, I can't ever take it off. That's why I came, country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping. Country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping. Yeah, they can't get like me, rocking boots and white tee. Designer on my cuff, ain't something like a movie. Country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping. Country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping. Anyway, anyway, baby, just name the time. When I'ma come through, can you got me cruising on the moonlight? Top down, playing new sounds while the wind blows over it. Checking my maps, heading the stack, keep it intact. Do me a favor, girl. Can you keep it warm for me? Keep it on for me like a shower. I needed to run for me. Hold it down till I'm pulling up. I finally made it, girl. And I'm at the door, see you walking up to me. And you got something that's showing what's underneath. Still, you expect me to make it do pleasantries. Baby, I'm yours. Love what you got on, but I want it been out praying my baby not hurt. Ay. All of the weather we doing, I promise it's worth it. Ay. Open the curtains, ay. Baby I'm certain. Ay. I want it all, we come in it's a coupe, and we gon' bring it right back. Tell her, man, you know I'm suited, ay. But I ain't never gon' slack. I had to study the map. I had to find where I'm at. The legend, a symbol of that. Symbols, I ain't gonna crash. Catch me in the cut, hun. Something like the duck running. Yeah. I ain't coming with nothing. I know what they want from it. I know. I can spot the fake loving. Rolling out the gates on it. Ain't no debating on it. It got legs like K-Honey. Usher, I'm skate on the beat. I done seen the play cross the feet. God drive like 6 feet. Flow sick, give me 6 feet. Mountain climbing out to hit a peak, bunch of snow in my seat, it ain't the same no more. Life is everything but the beach like a chain. I'm a link with you later for sure. Gotta do better than walking on dodging the surface. Every day I've been out praying my baby not hurt. Ay. All of the weather we doing, I promise it's worth it. Ay. Open the curtains, ay. Baby I'm certain. Ay. I want it all, we come in it's a coupe, and we gon' bring it right back. Tell her, man, you know I'm suited, ay. But I ain't never gon' slack. I had to study the map. I had to find where I'm at. The legend, a symbol of that. Symbols, I ain't gonna crash. I've been going out of my way for us, and I'm not okay. The sun ain't gon' shine all day. Can't wait to see it on your face. Girl, you know, gotta do better than walking on dodging the surface. Ay. Every day I've been out praying my baby not hurt. Ay. All of the weather we doing, I promise it's worth it. Ay. Open the curtains, ay. Baby I'm certain.
All right, so I'm going to come in here and chat for a little bit. Sorry for the sound quality; it's not so great. I got my generator running outside, and so one thing I'm watching right now. I was trying to talk about this earlier, but my live was cutting out so often. Let me keep these on the screen so they can keep running. What I'm noticing tonight is the order board, at least on Coinbase, is pretty stacked on both sides, which is keeping the price very quiet. But if somebody takes one of those orders down, it can move really fast. Now I've got it probably a little too sensitive right now. I've got it on 0.1. Let me put it back on 1 like I normally do. It's not going to hardly move at all right now like this. But you see this order, there's an order there for 2.3 Bitcoin at 63,918. I mean, that acts as a wall for it to go down past that point, because somebody has to buy 2.1 Bitcoin at that price to move past that price. And you see we got a 1.4 Bitcoin up here at 934. So it's hard for the price to go past that kind of blockade. Now that can come down in a heartbeat, but if you're asking me right now, I'd say this is probably going to go down in the next couple seconds, a little bit. So that's how I'm reading the order book right now. It's so quiet, but all it would take is for somebody to pull off some orders off the board, and it could run really strong in one direction or the other. Right now, I'm seeing a lot of blockades being put up. When they come down, the price runs. So it's quiet, but it's also kind of frightening. How close it is to the strike point and how fast it can move. So I'm not super excited about being involved in something like what's happening right this second, but we'll see. If it gets farther away from the strike point, I may get interested, but I may do a lot of sitting around and waiting tonight, because having it this close to the strike point with some volatility, we're kind of going from nothing until it runs like a big amount. So I'm not in a hurry to get involved with this. I think there's going to be a lot of like last 3 minutes or last 2 minutes or last 1 minute kind of decisions tonight because it is so quiet. But we'll see how it goes. Just kind of preparing you that I may be doing a lot of watching, at least for now. So, yeah, if you're looking for me to like follow for like, you're going to get rich following me, my trades, you might be bored out of your mind tonight because, I have to be super confident to get involved. And I've already gotten involved once tonight, where I paid the price. It was just like the last minute. It looked like it might be okay, and then it just moved real fast. So I'm hesitant. I've kind of worked myself back to break even, a little bit past break even for the day. But we'll see. I'm going to be patient and watch for the opportunities. But if you're watching this order book, keep an eye on, like, we got 2.2 Bitcoin kind of as a blockade for it going any lower at the moment. Somebody would have to pick up that 2.2 for it to move past that. All that being said, somebody can take down that 2.2 order in an instant and it would move. See, there's not much behind it. It could move really fast behind it because there's very little there. It's very thin after that. So, yeah, it could run a little bit. But it's pretty dull right now. So, anyway, back to the music. And it's good to have you with me. If you want to support the live, just hit some emojis, tap some emojis. Legrand will show you how to do that. And and comment. And yeah, if there's anything really complicated for me to answer, I may come on and talk to that. But in general, I do this for like 6 to 8 hours a day. So I try not to talk for 6 to 8 hours a day because I'd be miserable if I was doing that. So I'll come in when I need to. Mostly I'll let the music kind of hold the audio part. But if you have questions, I'll try to type the answer. Or if it's complicated, I'll come in and answer. Thanks so much for being here. And it's wonderful to have you with us as we build Kalshi Bitcoin 15-minute community. So, yeah, if you have questions, ask away. But now we return to the music. Yeah, if you have questions, ask away. But now we return to the music. All right. Well, like I said, I'm not want to keep talking, right? But if I have something I have to come in and answer, I will. I know you want to hear me, but buddy, I don't have 6 hours in me to talk. So, dang, how long have you been doing this? You said down and went down. So, like, what made you think, and what's a strike point? A strike point, that is the number to beat. So, on this market right now, it is 63,927.67. Strike point is that's the do or die point. Up or down is that's the number. It's called a strike point. How do I do that? Well, I'm just watching the order board, right? Like I said, it's really quiet, so this order board has a lot to do with it. But see how it's very thin right here? There's 0.1, 0.04. Somebody buys 1 Bitcoin right now, it would fly through like a ton of stuff and change the price dramatically. So basically, if you're looking at these I think of these as blockades. They can change, and they can be taken down, and they can alter in a millisecond. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But see how this big pile of stuff up here? In order to work through all that, somebody would have to make a big purchase, right? Because people are asking for this, right? While this is very thin, so people are bidding there. So people can take people up on their bids. If somebody bought 1 Bitcoin, they would go all through all this, all the way down, right? So that's what's having me say right now. If it's going to go anywhere in that millisecond, it's going to go down. Right now, if you'd ask me, it's going to go down a little bit. But keep in mind, just because there's an order book doesn't mean somebody is going to buy or somebody's going to sell. I can't predict that. I don't know. Somebody's going to look at this and say, well, I'm going to buy 7 million Bitcoin right now. I have no idea that that's going to happen. So all we can do is kind of see what the landscape is, look at the charts. I don't even use the charts for hardly anything except the only thing I really use it for is when it hits the outside of the Bollinger Band. See, like right here. This is one side of the Bollinger Band right here. This is the bottom side right here. When it hits the top, it wants to reverse. When it hits the bottom, it wants to come back. Not always, but if you see right here, it hit the bottom, it bounced back. Got close to the top, bounced back. It got close to the top, came back in that same candle. So it just gives you some ideas. We're all playing a guessing game, and we're at the muse of rich people with a bunch of money to burn, and they could do anything they want at any given time. We don't know. That being said, if I see a big blockade above and nothing below, it's going to tend to want to go down. But doesn't mean that's gonna be what happens. The main thing for me on my strategy is I want to get as far away from that strike point as possible with as little time to go, and then be as aggressive as I can if I'm sure. If I'm like, it's got to happen. Right now, it's so close and there's no movement and like things can change in a heartbeat. So I'm not particularly interested at the moment. That may change as the night goes on. The order book may change. You can see it changes rapidly. All of a sudden now there's less on top than there is on the bottom, so it wants to move up. So basically, my thing is the king of all of this is, what is the strike point? How far away from it are we? And how much time is left? Do I think it's possible, given the order book, that it can get back there? And I'm trying to avoid risk as much as possible because my strategy relies on winning like 95% of the time. I just had my first loss in 6 days just now. And so I'm very effective, but I'm very slow and methodical and patient. And my strategy takes a lot of patience. Because right now, I have really no business being involved with this market at the moment. Like I said, that can change. But my job with my strategy is just to be patient and wait for the moment where it's time for me to make my hay, as they say. So don't mute yourself, Legrand, this bro, chillin' bro. HLG explained that to me earlier today. But anyway, so that's my thing. Is I have a specific strategy that is boring as hell. Sometimes I do nothing for hours, and then and then when I come in, maybe it's only 5 contracts, and I'm going to scalp 5 cents. If the market does not match my strategy, I don't play. If I don't have the advantage, I don't play the game. And we'll see if this changes throughout the night. As of right now, not feeling it, but we shall see how things progress. I was also going to say, I want to just share with you, since we got 10 people in the live right now. All right, thank you, dude. And also, how do you see this order book? Yeah, the right cushion at 7 minutes. I've gotten now to where it's the right cushion at like 5, maybe even 3 minutes. With this market, it's maybe like 2 or 1. But yeah, I'm moving even closer to the end to make my decision. To get that order book, the website that I'm using to get that is TapeSurf, and what we're looking at is the Coinbase. Basically, if you get on Coinbase or you have you're part of Coinbase, you can see this order book on Coinbase directly, which is probably the best way to go about doing it. But I use TapeSurf. It allows me to look at all the different exchanges, but I focus mainly on Coinbase because I don't know if this is true yet or not, but I think because most of the bots use the Coinbase API, the Kalshi price is most correlated to the Kalshi price correlated to Coinbase price. So that's the theory I'm working on. It could just be like the RTI for the real-time indicator of where it's at, or the real-time index. But I'm using Coinbase. You can get that through Coinbase, or I'm using a site called TapeSurf. But if you just Google Bitcoin order book, probably TapeSurf will be the first one that comes up, and that's the one I'm using. So, Can you make money with me? Yes, but it's going to be slow, and I think most people will get bored out of their mind doing what I'm doing. I'm streaming 6 to 8 hours a day, so I'm very choosy about where I get in. And it has to be like, the probability has to be really high for me to win, for me to even get involved in the whole thing. So yes, you can definitely make money doing what I do. I've made 10% 5 days in a row. So I think I started this 5 day run with this account at $90. I think maybe it was less than that. It might have been 60, but 10% profit, then 10% profit on that, then 10% profit on that, and now we're at $158. So, and that 10% grows with the bankroll. So, like, I'll be theoretically making more money, and I'll also be taking bigger risk as the portfolio increases in size. But for right now, I base everything on how big my portfolio is. I encourage you to do the same. If you've got $10 in your account, you should be just doing one contract at a time. Really, you should be doing about 1% of your whole portfolio in one market. And that's kind of the max. So, and now because I've been doing it for a while and there are moments where I'm more confident, I take advantage of the moments where I feel super confident. If I I'm super cautious, and if I feel confident, then I know, okay, the odds are really, really good right now, and I will go bigger on those moments. But until you know when those moments are, just do 1% of your bankroll. Bro. Well, I mean, the risk, Unicorn Ken, is if you're not winning, if you're getting in on every market, you're going to lose with this strategy. That's why I'm so selective. If you're investing in every market that comes along, when it gets to 85 or 75 or whatever, you have to win so often that the chances of you being profitable are not great. What I'm saying is you got to be very selective because I have to win a significant amount of the time, 95% or more, to be profitable doing this. I do lives every day, 6 to 8 hours a day. Usually do an afternoon session and an evening session, both 3 to 4 hours apiece. Also depends on what time you start betting. That's correct. What I'm saying is not necessarily 75 to 85, but what we want to do is get in when the price is high, but not too high. So for me, that would be like 80, maybe 75 sometimes, but 80 to 95. And more often, I'm getting in at 95 instead of 80. And I'm trying to just get that 5 cents, and I'm doing more contracts, right? But if the market conditions are that 95% is losing every other time, well, you cannot be involved in that market. Like, you can't be involved in those conditions because that is a losing proposition. So, am I saying to get in at 75, 85 all the time? No. When the 15-minute ticker starts and soon after it's already 95, I get scared to enter. You absolutely should be afraid of 95 right when the market opens. For me, I don't get in any sooner than 7 minutes to go. If it gets to 95 in the first minute and never rebounds, that's fine. I just missed that one, no big deal. There's going to be another one in 15 minutes. But yeah, that's way too much time a whole bunch of things can happen in 15 minutes on these markets. So for me, I want to get in kind of the earliest at 7 minutes to go. More and more, I'm happy to get the 95 cents and take profit at 99.9. So I'm happy to wait longer. And lately I've been going to 5 minutes, sometimes 3 in this market. Like I said, right now, it's 3 minutes to go. I've been talking, so I am not trading right now. So when everybody says you should just keep talking, well, then I there's no trading going on because I'm focused on talking. So anyway, that's my spiel. I've lost most of the most of the crowd with that spiel, but I'm gonna go back to music. I appreciate y'all being here. If you have questions, hopefully I can answer it with typing, but I'm gonna get back to trading. So yeah. So I mean, I know you're right as far as like growing an audience and all that. I should be talking the whole time. I cannot do that. I'm an old man. I can't do that for 6 to 8 hours a day. I tried to do that in the beginning of this, and I burned myself out, and no good. So I will talk when it's important for me to talk, but I'm not also chasing numbers. I want, like, as of right now, I know a bunch of people who are in the room fairly well, like, because it's been a small group and we've got to know each other, and like I like building real connection with people that feel like they're part of a community. And I don't really want to chase viral anything. I think viral stuff is kind of, I had like 43,000 subscribers on TikTok, but it was just being real and like, you know, telling the truth and being completely honest about everything. And that's how I operate. I just do things without any smoke screen, I'm not trying to hide anything from anybody. My whole thing is out there in front of everybody. If I fail, I did it honestly. If I am successful, I do it honestly. And I don't think the shocking moment that you're talking about is healthy, either for my personality or for my bankroll. Now, I think that I can make a bunch of money being really patient and not being shocking. And if my numbers are not that great because I'm patient, and that's fine. Like, cause I'm not interested in shock culture and like, grabbing headlines and like being a big ego and all that stuff. I reject all of that stuff. I'm just a dude out in the forest trading some shit as a hobby in between building my house and hanging out in nature and chilling with my cat. Like that's all I'm about. So if you would respect the fact that I'm holding space for everybody to learn and to create community and interact with each other. And sometimes it's just listen to some music. I'm going to try and get better at curating the music. I already got in trouble for even using a Spotify playlist that was supposed to be copyright free, but I guess there were some songs in there that weren't. So I'm going to go through the YouTube catalog and try to find stuff that's like enjoyable to listen to for me. And as of right now, there's a few in there that I've got in there right now that I'm already like, yikes, I don't want to listen to that. but so feel free to comment on the music if there's a song that you're like, oh, I don't want to hear that again. Let me know. I'm going to be working on curating that, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm always happy to answer questions. I'm always happy to help. I'm always happy to give you my honest opinion about something. But I don't want to be here to make picks, because that's what everybody wants to know on the chat on Kalshi. Is it up or down? You know, like, and they want to follow somebody who's going to make a decision early so they can make a bunch of money. I don't think that is sustainable. I think you can have a big win, and I think that can feel fun. And then I also think you can have a string of bad luck and lose everything. So I don't want to gamble. I want to invest. And investing is, if you do it well, is very methodical and very calculating. And you know, like I said, I've doubled my bankroll, well, tripled my bankroll basically in a couple weeks, just by being patient and waiting for the right times to take a sure thing and make a few cents off of it. And you do that enough, and you can raise the amount of shares that, you know, how many contracts you buy. And in the beginning, maybe you're making 25 cents a market. You know, 4 months later, you're making $100 a market with the same philosophy, but the contract size is bigger. And there's plenty of contracts to buy at the end. The market there's liquidity all over the place at the end when it's 95 cents, 96 cents, all that. So anyway, that's my long-winded thing to just say, yeah, I appreciate that. And I know you're looking out for me. You want me to have a big, you know, viral moment where I make a trade that's like millions of dollars, and you know, maybe there'll be a day when I get put in a position where I have a big enough bankroll that makes sense. But right now, I got in my portfolio that I'm working with right now, I got $158.39. So every move I make has to be in relation to that amount. I have to manage my bankroll correctly. And for me at this moment, that means, oh, see, I'm not even on the screen anymore because I'm talking. I want to manage an experience for everybody too. That's my main objective, is to create community around this, so we have a place to go where it's not just like you bidding in the darkness by yourself. There's a place to go and hang out where people are chatting about this stuff, because I find it very enjoyable to trade these markets. Like I think it's very fun. And the 15-minute BTC happens often enough that it keeps me interested long term. So all that being said, I appreciate the intention for me to speak a lot. I know that when I speak, the numbers are going to go up because it's more engaging, obviously. But just keep in mind that I'm a human being with a limited amount of energy. You know, I do my best to try to hold space. But I would encourage you guys to interact with each other, create the energy in here. I'll come in when there's questions that, you know, like I felt like the need to come in and talk about this because it's important. I'm not about viral moments. I'm about very intelligent and planned out strategy that works. Because I think there is a great opportunity with these predictive markets to make money. But I've done it now for almost a year. There's also a great opportunity to lose a lot of money. And so this strategy that I'm using is my best effort after all that year of trying different things and building trading bots and doing this, that, the other thing. This is my best attempt at a strategy that I think is sustainable. But yeah, it requires patience. So if you've got the patience for this, this will work. If you don't have the patience, and if you lose, you want to get it back right away, this is definitely not the strategy for you, because you'll lose so fast if you try to make it back when you make a loss. So I really base a lot of my stuff on what's his name? Cameron? No. Maybe Cameron. But the guy that runs Warrior Trading on YouTube, I think he's very intelligent, and I've taken a lot from him about trading strategies and how to make them work, and applying it to predictive markets. Now, my way is not the only way, and it might not even be the best way. It's the way that's working for me right now. And if I've learned anything from a year, the market dictates what strategy works. And this is what's working for me right now. But if this market were to be going up 100, down 200, up, within 15 minutes, my strategy would be a mess. It would be so hard to do. So anyway, all that being said, we're here to learn. I'm not interested in growing viral. I'm interested in building friendships and having a place for people to go. You figured out an edge. Oh, yeah, I've seen him. I like him. Yeah, he has the long hair and glasses, and he's a ginger. Yes, that's correct. I think it's Cameron. I don't know. That doesn't quite sound right. Maybe it is. But yeah, he's very good. His videos are worthwhile. Warrior Trading. He focuses on the markets and finding. He's basically finding a news story, and when something breaks, he tries to trade that thing that's breaking with good news that's driving the price way up. Which, it requires a lot of work to get things in position to do that. But he has taught me a ton about strategies, because that's one of the things he talks about all the time. All right, so I recommend Warrior Trading, and I recommend being patient. I also recommend learning to take a good loss. This is something that I learned from, I believe it's Cameron, from Warrior Trading. Learn to take a good loss, because if you can take a good loss, your strategy will be improved dramatically. And that's basically setting a number as your stop loss and sticking to it. And I'm talking to myself as much as I am to you right now, because I am terrible at this. I always hold on too long, and then it loses. I lose the whole thing. And I had a system in place to take the loss, to do a stop loss, only lose half of it instead of all of it. And that's something I'm really working on, is being good at taking a loss. And the other thing I'm working on is being patient when I lose. So not trying to get it back too fast. Sticking with the strategy, being patient, waiting for the right moment, and then knowing, that's the big thing, knowing it's the right moment and being aggressive in that moment. So I'll leave you, before I end this, as I end this long speech, I'm going to leave you with one. This is my aggressive. When I am aggressive, this is what I'm looking for. And it's very specific. It happens very rarely. But when it does happen, I am in. And I'm in strong. And I'm going full at it. And that's when there is a streak of the same result 6 times in a row or more. But it starts for me at 6 times. And the price is outside the Bollinger Band significantly. That's basically it's coming. The reversal is coming, and coming soon, right? And I know this because I built a bot that was all about fading the streak. So I know all the numbers about how often a streak of 7 happens, a streak of 8, a streak of 9. So when I see 6 in a row and it's outside the Bollinger Bands, I'm in at 5% of my bankroll immediately. I'm not waiting till the end of the thing. I'm taking the other side of the streak when the bell opens, trying to get it at 40 cents if I can. But I'm in with 5% of my bankroll. If I lose, the next market, I'm in with 10% of my bankroll. If I lose again, now it's getting really unlikely. 20% of my bankroll, up to 40%, up to 80%. 40% is probably where I would cut it off and not do the 80%. But that's a situation where it's a martingale strategy, and I know the odds are so stacked in my favor that I want to take advantage of it. But that happens super rarely. And but I want to share that with you. That's the kind of mindset I'm in. I'm very patient until the exact thing that I'm looking for shows up, and then I'm all over it. I'm ready to go. So, like I thought I'd share that with you. I'm super cautious until I know the odds are heavily stacked in my favor, and then I'm not cautious at all. Like now I'm in. So I think that comes from like the last year of just watching these markets so closely for so many hours and knowing kind of how it all works and all that I feel confident when it's time to be aggressive. And the other thing is I know when it's time to not be aggressive and like to sit out or do, one contract or 2 or 5, something small instead of 50, All right, that's my speech. Thanks for being here. If you want to make my day, you've already made my day because there's 12 people in the room, and you guys talked me into speaking for so long. But if you want to leave a like, follow me, all that good stuff, and hit some emojis on the screen, that would make my day. But more than anything, I'm just happy you're here. Having 11, 12, 13 people in the room at a time and having those people stay in the room is great. Hopefully when I play the music, you won't all leave.
crazy. Better take that knee and kiss my ring, cause I be royalty. Everywhere I go, my scene, and they be hating. That's such a lame thing, yeah, y'all be lame things. I could never ever go outside like that. Yeah, my people got my back, and I know that that's a fact. So I won't worry about a thing, I'm gonna keep on burning track. Do you get what I mean? I got faith in my dream. Oh, it's been a long, hard road, gotta go home. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, and I know you love the way that I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, 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 yeah. Flexing cause they know I got the sauce. Got the presence on me, I can't ever take it off. That's why I came, country boy stepping. Yeah, I'm country boy stepping. Country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping. Yeah, they can't get like me. Rockin' boots and white tee. Design on my cuff, ain't something like a mobile. Country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping. Country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping.
All right, since we have such a big crowd and everybody's enjoying me talking, I'll keep it going and open the floor to any questions or any chat that you guys want to have. I'm going to try and focus a little bit better on trading right now while I talk. I put so much of my thoughts into my words that it's kind of hard for me to do both at the same time, but I'll do my best. As of right now, I can enter a position while you talk. Don't go big, though, for a safety net. So for this order book, sorry, I kind of got it, but if there's more on the bottom, it'll go down. More on the top, it goes up. No, not necessarily. Actually, the opposite. So think of it this way. Somebody comes in right now and buys at the ask price, at the current ask price. And they buy a bunch. They buy a ton of Bitcoin. They buy like, sounds like it's not a lot, but they buy 7 Bitcoin. That's like a ton of Bitcoin. Well, they would, if they were to do that right now, they'd eat through all of these orders, right? They'd eat through the whole thing because that's where all the best price orders are, is right here. Now, if somebody comes in and buys half a Bitcoin, it doesn't even move the price at all. Like it just would eat 0.5 of that 0.7. So the thinner the book is, somebody selling in here would move the price down significantly. So you can kind of see that kind of happening. So it's actually the opposite of what you're thinking. And it was the opposite of what I thought it was, too. I had to have a conversation with AI about this to try to wrap my head around it. But the bigger this block is, the harder it is for people to move that price. But you see, as soon as it comes down, as soon as people remove their bids, it can move. But when you've got these like big blockades, see this one right here? That's the biggest one right now, is 0.9. But that's pretty significant. Like somebody would have to buy some Bitcoin to move that. Whereas when it's like real thin on one side and there's like 0.0, 0.0, 0.0, you know, for a long line, there's nothing. If somebody does anything, it moves the price way down. So kind of think of it, to me, think of it as like a blockade. How do I get that graph? Well, I'm using Tape Surf. If you were to Google Bitcoin order book live, or yeah, you could do Bitcoin order book live. Probably the first thing that's going to come up is tape surf, and it's because it has a bunch of the different markets, the different exchanges where Bitcoin is bought and sold. I personally would also recommend just either the real-time index that Kalshi uses, right here, CF benchmarks. That will tell you kind of the number that's coming in at the exact moment. I probably should add that to the stream at some point. But anyway, this is either tape surf, or you can go on Coinbase in their advanced trading mode, and that will have the order book on the screen in real time, which is the exact same thing as what's happening here. But all we're looking at on this order book is Coinbase in real time. So you might want to even just skip the tape surf middleman and go straight to Coinbase for it. And if you watch this, so there's a big blockade right there. See how that pushed that down? But if you watch this number and watch this number, you'll see how closely related they are. This is probably 30 seconds behind, if not more sometimes, the graph on Kalshi. Oh, you got it. Thank you. All right, cool. So yeah. So like right now, I would think it would bump up a little bit. If nothing changes, this would have a tendency to go up a little bit right now. See that big wall forming at the bottom, right? Pushing the price up. So just think of it as like there's a lot to chew through. If there's not much to chew through and you're hungry, you'd have to go a long way to eat through all this little crumbs left on the ground. But if there's a big mountain of hamburgers sitting right here, it's going to take a while to eat through those hamburgers, you know. So that's just one way to think about it. You can see that it's pushing the price up because there's nothing really on top anymore holding the price down. It's very thin on the top on the order book right now. And see that just changed. So it's one of those things that's very dynamic. It changes very fast, but it can give you a sense of short term where the price is going. Yeah. So I think about the order book as short term movement. I think about the chart as long term movement. But I'm mostly focused on how much time is left, what it's selling for on Coinbase at the moment, and how far away that is from the strike. We're $3 away from the strike right now, and it's pushing down. So if I were a betting man, which I'm not, even then I would probably sit this out because it's too close, right? It's 50-50. The price is slightly below, but this is telling you that there's some energy in another market somewhere that's up compared to Coinbase. So the market's still leaning up, but Coinbase is saying, yep. So it eventually played out that Coinbase was heading in the right direction, down. So I would consider this a risky time to get in, but that was a pretty big movement. So I'm good. I think we're going to give it a shot. We're going to be pretty conservative. We're going to go 5. Again, I'm just trying to make 5-10 cents a contract. And if I'm really confident, I'm still trying to do 5-10 cents a contract, but I'm going to invest 100 contracts, as opposed to 5. So I got to do my whole routine. I'm going to sell at 95, 96. Try and get 10 cents profit. And I'm going to be ready because this is very unstable. It could go any way. I'm going to be ready with my stop loss. If you saw my video today, I think I did a pretty good job of explaining how to set up a stop loss. But basically, all I'm going to do is put in 1 cent. As soon as it moves to a price I'm not comfortable with, I'm going to sell. And this is the good thing about talking to you while I'm live, is I have to do that because I just told you that's what I'm going to do. Even though there's going to be a part of me that's like, oh, just hold and wait. Oh, don't take the loss. Hold on. You could still win, you know. So based on what I'm seeing, there's a lot of pressure pushing the price still down on tape surf. There's very little holding the price up. So it's going to stay pretty stable, maybe go down a little bit as of what I'm seeing right now. But it's pretty thin in both directions. I would say this could go either way right now. Because that's the case, because I'm not super confident and now I see momentum gaining on the bottom, I decided that was a good moment to just be done. Because I saw this building up down here. And it's like, you know, it's close enough that any major movement would be awful, you know. So this market right now, I'm pretty cautious about. Even though it's, you know, quiet and there doesn't seem to be much going on, there's still enough activity that if this order book gets real thin, that the price can move a bunch. So I'm just a little cautious. And you can see there's some up movement, which is, if I was still in this market, I'd be a little nervous right now. Like, oh, God. I have an anxiety disorder, so I try not to be anxious, too. You know what I mean? Like, I try to, that's another, you know, you build the strategy for who you are. And I try to avoid anxiety. So I want a sure thing, and I don't want to mess around if it gets dicey, you know. That's my personality. That's my strategy. If that's not your strategy and you want to have, you know, 50-50 odds and get in at the beginning, that can work, especially if you can read charts well and you have a good sense for how the market works. Getting in at 50 cents can be very effective. But it's also a roller coaster ride, and like, you know, you're 15 minutes of like, God, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, you know, so I think you should build your strategy based on your personality as well. All right. That's another long-winded thing. So thank you all. I appreciate you. And if you have any questions, I will come back and answer them. But let's get into trading and music here.
that you doubt it. It's just what it is, yeah, I'm known to make it rowdy. Then I'm for the fit, and I drive a wide body. Who you know, but like this, nobody. Can't go slow, I gotta hit that body. I'm the top for the top, I can't never take a break. Yeah, I'm hot, and you not, that's why all my records bang. Oh, it's been a long, hard road, gotta go home. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, and I know you love the way that I'm gon' keep going. Yeah, 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 can't lose blessing, cause they know I got the sauce. Got the presence on me, I can't ever take it off. That's why I came, country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping. Country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping. Yeah, they can't get like me, rocking boots and white tee. Designer on my cuff, link something like a movie. Country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping. Country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping. Yeah, why they mad at a man like me? I went too crazy. Better take that knee and kiss my ring, cause I be royalty. Everywhere I go, my scene, and they be hating. That's such a lame thing. Yeah, y'all be lame things. I could never ever go outside like that. Yeah, my people got my back, and I know that that's a fact. So I won't worry about a thing. I'm gonna keep on burning track. Do you get what I mean? I got faith in my dream. Oh, it's been a long, hard road, gotta go home. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, and I know you love the way that I'm gon' keep going. Yeah, 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 can't lose blessing, cause they know I got the sauce. Got the presence on me, I can't ever take it off. That's why I came, country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping. Country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping. Yeah, they can't get like me, rocking boots and white tee. Designer on my cuff, link something like a movie. Country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping. Country boy stepping, yeah, I'm country boy stepping. I've been going out of my way for us, and I'm not okay. The sun ain't gon' shine all day. Can't wait to see it on your face, girl. You know, gotta be all day. Every day.
That's a great question. I'll come in for that. Razored, what does RDI do, and what does it mean when they're high, like above 30 or low? I'm wondering if RSI, is that what you're asking? Relative Strength Index is one of the RSI. Relative Strength Index is basically the same thing as Bollinger Bands. I mean, they're based on the same indicator. So you can think of RSI when it gets down to 30 as it being right by the bottom of the Bollinger Band. I'm guessing right now, I don't have RSI on my screen, but I'm guessing the RSI is maybe 55 or something right now. Right in the middle, close to the middle. And 70 on RSI would be the top Bollinger Band. So when it's down at 30, RSI is telling you it wants to come back up. And when it's at 70, it's like the top Bollinger Band telling you it wants to come back down. It's 52, yeah. Because it's right on the middle line of the Bollinger Band right now, which would be around in the 50s somewhere. So it's almost like I used to have RSI up on the board, but it's basically redundant. It's the same thing as having Bollinger Band on the chart. And it just doesn't really help any to add both of them in. They're both the same thing. You can use either or, basically. Yeah, I mean, the top Bollinger Band means oversold as well. I mean, overbought as well, I mean. And the bottom Bollinger Band is oversold. So it's the same idea. HLG is right about that. But basically, RSI 70 you can think of as the top Bollinger Band line, and RSI 30 is the bottom Bollinger Band line. It's about the same. They act about the same. Great question. Thanks for doing a question. If anybody else has a question, let me know. Before I go back to music, happy to answer any questions. I know it's a lot more entertaining and engaging when I'm talking over versus listening to the music. So, but I definitely need some content. I need some stuff to engage with. So if you got a question, this is a perfect time to do that. And while you're thinking of questions, you can hit those emojis and likes, and you can support the work I'm doing by just pressing some buttons. If you're super into supporting me and really like what I'm doing and enjoy me, I'm a recording artist under the name 7 Streams. It's kind of like just, I don't know, kind of grunge, but like more folky grunge, maybe. I don't know. I use my bass voice and sing songs. So if you like chill music, you might like my music. 7 Streams, like almost like 7 rivers, but 7 streams. And that's available anywhere you listen to music. So that's one way you can support me, but the easiest way is just being here and pressing buttons. So sorry to ask again, what about ADX? Basically, ADX is the average directional change. And so it's kind of telling you how volatile the market is. But I stopped using it because it wasn't as helpful for me. I found Bollinger Bands to be more so. And I'm not as sharp on what ADX, but basically my understanding of ADX is average directional change. It is how much movement there is in the market, how much up and down, and how volatile it is. So yeah, it's like folky. Yeah. You listened to some. Thank you, HLG, for listening. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's folky stuff. But yeah, that's ADX. Moderately helpful. I find Bollinger Bands or RSI to be the most helpful for me personally. So you can see the chart. These are like, I consider the plus sign, when you see a plus sign on the chart, as diabolical. because that means it's finishing where it started multiple times in a row, which makes for some real dramatic and gut-wrenching endings to markets. So here we are again, down to the wire. The market says it's 93% probability that it's going to finish up, and it probably will finish up, but it's so close, and it's so, any sudden change, 2 minutes is kind of a long time. So see, there it is, it's moving right there. It's one of those things where it's just like, I don't think so. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Average directional index. Okay. Yeah, RSI I find to be very helpful, and Bollinger Bands is about the same concept. I just prefer the Bollinger Bands. I think it's maybe a visual thing for me, but I like the Bollinger Bands. So yeah, this is down to the wire, moving in the wrong direction, bouncing back, questionable within a couple. This is just like not my deal. This is not the market I'm interested in. This is like, fuck this market. I just have no interest in this at all. I'm getting used to the Bollinger Bands. Yeah, I mean, it's the same idea as RSI. I was just saying that, like, you could think of the 30 on RSI as the bottom line of the Bollinger Band, and 70 on the RSI as the top band of the Bollinger Band. I'm getting on right now. I'm learning patience. Well, if I can pass on patience just in general, it's very hard in our modern society with all the stuff going on to be patient. But as I get older and older and older, probably the best lessons I've gotten in my life is about being patient and about waiting, and, excruciatingly sometimes. And but when you're patient, you're more sober to the fact of when an opportunity does present itself. And then because you've been resting and you've been waiting and waiting, you have the energy to act, to go. It's kind of like releases all this tension you built up because you finally have this opportunity to do your thing. And that's how I've been going about this. I've been a lot more successful. The more patient I am, the more successful I am. That's all I'll say. The more I get knee-jerk reaction and I'll just try and bid at 50 cents this time, just because I need some stimulation. I need some endorphins in my life. If I need that now, I'm going to go outside and do something, not use the market for my endorphins, But I mean, probably 99% of the people who are trading these markets, it's about the adrenaline rush. It's about the excitement, the thrill, and that's just not what I'm about. I'm about sober, very methodical, and okay, now it's time to go. And being firm and aggressive when it is time to go, but also chilling the fuck out when it's not time to go. Relax, have a drink, put your feet up, wait for the moment to come to you. Don't force it to happen. Will you be calling out when you get in the market? I definitely, I can do that, especially tonight because it's become so rare. But yeah, I can do that. I can come on and talk the next time that I'm going to get in. I'm not seeing it right now. I tend to get more interested when we get toward the outer Bollinger Bands. When we've got streaks involved, then I'm really aggressive and engaged. In this kind of market, I'm like, Here's a strategy if you need to be betting right now. If you feel like, I need to be doing something. Okay, here, I'm going to give you something. It's really close to 50-50 right now, right? So any movement on this board has a pretty decent chance of getting you like 5 cents increase. So watch this order book really closely. And when you see like a big shift, a big movement, or not even that, when you see the order book clear out and you've got like 0, 0, 0, 0.1, 0.01, a long line of really thin, like no bars, just going straight down nothingness. That can be a moment to get in and get ready to take your profit at 5, 10 cents maybe. It's a little bit risky, but if you need something to do right now, watch the order book, watch where it gets thin, and like it's getting thin on the bottom right now, you know. So down at 36, let's see if that would have paid out. Yeah. So 36 to 42, there's 6 cents, there's 8 cents profit. Just by noticing when it thins out on the order book. But you got to be fast. That's really something a bot should be doing. But, you got a big blockade right up here. It kind of reached that blockade and ate a little bit of it, but didn't get all the way through it. But yeah, if I'm looking at it right now, it's going to be stagnant. There's not going to be much movement, I don't think, for a little while here. Because you got big chunks on both sides. But as soon as one clears out, I would be ready to make a bet, You can see it's there's moments where there's a big order on the bids, and then it disappears and there's nothing there and the price wants to fall. So anyway, that's something you can do to keep yourself entertained if you need some stimulation. That's a legitimate strategy to engage with right now when it's this tight on movement. Now, I may get in on this one because it has moved far enough away from the strike, finally. We're moving toward the outer edge of the Bollinger Band, but we're not there yet. It's just too much time. So yeah, we're good. We're far away from the Bollinger Band. That's good. But there's 10 minutes left. It's too much time. So I'll be patiently watching this one. This is the most possible one in the last hour that I might get in on. And I may wait until the last 2 or 3 minutes, 5, somewhere in there. I don't know. But I may just do 94, get in at 95, sell at 99 kind of thing. But this is one I may be interested in, depending on how the rest of it goes. I'll get you back to some music. If you have questions, let me know. But I'll come back in when I'm thinking about bidding here. All right, so here we go. Unfortunately, it's hard for me to do the live at the same time. All right, so here we go. All right, we're going to do 10. Waited a little too long. I wanted to get it at 94, but yeah, we're getting in as wherever we can right now. We'll do 97 and see what we get. Okay, probably going to get 95. 95.7. Well, it's still pretty tight. 20, 27, 23 points away. If anything, the price is going to go down right now because we got nothing holding it up underneath. I'm just hoping it doesn't go down too fast. So yeah. Okay, I like to see that. There we go. I like to see that. So it cleared up on the top. Base is coming in. I'm expecting hopefully a little rise. I haven't set my take profit. Just going to do 99. In these conditions, I'm just a lot more cautious than otherwise. I usually do 99.9. I usually get in a little bit earlier than 95.7. But that's the reality of this. I am pretty confident right now that the price is going to stay stable based on what I'm seeing on the order book. And if anything, go up. But, it's not a sure thing until it happens. And there it goes a little bit. Come on, a little bit more. There's just so little. Oh, see now that all those bids fell off in an instant, and now still pretty balanced. Down, yeah, now down is kind of favored, kind of big favored. I think I've had enough. Yeah, I'm just being super cautious right now. I mean, that wasn't an exciting trade for me to be a part of. It just was like, When I see that order book open up on the bottom, I get nervous. Now, here's a reality that I may need to adjust to tonight, is it's so quiet that moving from 938 to 924, even though it's just $14, is like a mountain. It's a huge amount. It's like in the middle of the weekday, it's like $100 or $150 because it's so dead and there's no buying going on. It's so quiet. I probably should be a little bit more confident that it'll hold, but I've trained myself to be cautious. So, like, I'm looking at that order book right now. If that would have maintained that order book, I would have stayed in. But because it got real thin, I was like, I don't know where that's going. So, anyway, there's a kind of a weak trade, but like I always say, a win is a win. It's not a lot of money. I'm not gonna be able to do anything. I'm not gonna be able to go to the store and buy anything with that 12 cents, but it adds up. It was not a negative, and we're starting to see a little bit of movement, but it's pretty quiet right now. So I may need to adjust my tolerances a little bit, because even though the order book cleared out, there just isn't any buyers happening right now. There's no buying happening. So it's the price, even with the order book being empty in one direction, it's still not moving. So anyway, there's one trade. I hope that was helpful for you. Any questions you guys have? We got 12 people in here. It's wonderful for me to see. Definitely enjoying having all these folks around, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have before we go into the next round here. But what I think I would like to do, since people are enjoying me talking, here's what I'll do. I will get the new market reset, play some music, and around the 7-minute mark, I'll come in and do some chatting. So I'll chat halftime. So I don't really do anything with strategy until about 7 minutes at the earliest. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to put it in music mode and then come back with about 7 minutes to go. If any questions do come up, I can come back in and talk about answering your questions. Any questions do come up, I can come back in and talk about answering your questions.